What's up, everybody? I got a new car. First off, before we get started, I don't know if you notice I look a little different. I have glasses now, so you might see me in videos wearing these. But let's check this thing out. Fine piece of automotive engineering Jesus, is a 2004 Corvette. This is a base model. It's not a Z06. It's red. It has wheels. Let's check it out. Alright, sorry for the mess. I didn't prepare too well for this video. So obviously, like I just said, it's a 2004 Corvette, and it is a manual 6-speed transmission, so that's fun. It is only have 45,000 miles, so it's relatively fresh. And this is a Z51, so it has the a little sportier suspension to it. Not Z06 sporty, but it's kind of in between. First off, let me just say this is extremely dirty. I'll get into the story of how I have this car and why it's in the condition it is right now. But yeah, so it's extremely dirty, so try to just look past that. I haven't been able to wash it or anything yet. But yeah, this red, this color specifically is called, God, I'm already off. I believe it's magnetic red metallic or something like that. It was an optional color. It looks really nice. In the sun, that red looks so deep you almost can't even look at it. Like if you try to stare at it, it's like you're staring into a void. We have the tan interior, which I really like. Not as common. Most Corvettes seem to have the black interior, so this has the nice tan. You can see seats aren't torn. Everything is very clean, very nice, and very original. There's no modifications whatsoever have been done to this vehicle. And I believe these are basically base model wheels for the later year Corvettes. This being a 2004, this is the last year for the C5. This would be a C5 Corvette, which is basically the 5th generation Corvette. And yeah, I think these are one of the best looking wheels they put on these to begin with, so I'm glad it has those. Under the hood, we got the famous LS1 engine. This would be the absolute first generation, the very first motor that would become of the common LS motors now. So this one makes, being this is the later C5, this is 350 horse, and I believe 365 foot-pounds of torque, because it actually includes the later ones. They put the LS6 intake on there. So we got a couple more horses, but the early C5s were 345 horsepower, so not a big difference, but kind of cool anyways. But yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, we have the 6-speed transmission, which I believe is a T56 transmission or a variation of that. And the rear axle ratio is kind of just the standard 342 rear end. Guess we can step into the interior here. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to fall into this thing. And coming inside here, you can see we got the Corvette logo on the steering wheel. We can turn the ignition on here so you can see the gauge sweep. We got low tire pressures. I don't know if that's actually low or if I just need to drive it to get that to clear. Over here, we got the infotainment center. This is a very 90s. This is the typical GM kind of AC Delco style. This is the Bose system. So we got all the fancy deals. I think all Corvettes were Bose to begin with, but we do have a 6-disc CD changer in the back, and then the single disc up here. Nobody really uses CDs anymore, so this needs to be updated. eventually. And obviously we got automatic climate control, and then there's a door there that covers that. I just got it open because I think I had my phone plugged into that little adapter there. And you can see we got the 6-speed. This is gonna get updated also. And we got all the goodies. That piece is in the back. The floor mat's somewhere. I think it's in a box somewhere when I moved. There's a piece of plastic there, that's trim. We're also missing the trim here, but that's in the back. I pulled it off because I had a water leak. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But you can see it's pretty clean. It's nice. More speakers back there. We got the net, all the good stuff back there. Looks good. Carpets need to be cleaned up a little bit. I'm sure somebody wants to hear it run, so we will make sure we're in neutral. And story time. So I actually bought this car back in like October, November. I think it was November. I bought this car while I was still living up in Washington. I had big plans to do a big, revealing video and all this stuff, but almost as soon as I bought it, within I think a few weeks, as I was kind of preparing for that first video, getting things ready, I kind of decided to move, so that kind of threw my life upside down, and everything got crazy there. So here we are. So we're not doing the big crazy intro video that I had originally planned, because I'm just dragging this thing out for 8 months later now. Jesus. So I got the car. I haven't driven it that much. I think I mentioned it only has 45,000 miles, so it's it's already clean. And been sitting its whole life, so oh well, it's been sitting some more. So I drove it for a few weeks and got some minor enjoyment out of it. Never really took it on any long drives because it needs a lot of work and just kind of maintenance and things to get it back up to date. So it's been in storage basically outside for the last 6 months or so. So it's extremely dirty. It has water leaks, so the leaks were being mitigated as best as possible while it was being stored outside and stuff like that. So it seems to have survived pretty well though. Very thankful for that. And I didn't want to bring it down here to Nevada because I was trying to get this garage set up. I need to get everything set up and ready. Plus I've just been so busy with trying to new job and working and all this crazy stuff, and relocating and moving, you know how it is. So it took me a while to finally get this car down here. So just last weekend, I drove my empty trailer all the way back up to Washington, picked up the car from the parents' house, towed it all the way back down here. What's up, everybody? We're driving again. I got the trailer on the back. We are headed up to Washington. Think of on this car would be, I bought it from the typical old man. He really old guy. His knees were destroyed in a skiing accident. He was just getting too old, and you know, he couldn't get in and out of the thing anymore. So I think he's owned it since probably 07 or 08, because I think that's what the date on the tires is, and that's when he replaced them probably. So he was probably the second owner, I'm guessing. I feel like I saw some paperwork somewhere where it might have came out of Texas. Might have got shipped out on a car auction site or something. I don't know. So I'm guessing he's the second owner. He didn't drive at all. It was just kind of a weekend type car for him. So it's that typical old man, but he can drive. I won't put him down for that. That dude, when he took me on the test drive, and I jumped in it, you know, at first, you know, start driving. I'm going easy. It's not my car, you know, and I'm not super familiar with, you know, driving manual transmissions every day, so I'm just going easy on the gearbox and stuff, and just putzing along and just feeling things out, because that's all I really care about. As long as it drives decent and clean, there's no noises, that's all I care about. Well, halfway through the test drive, he's like, well, you want me to show you what it can really do? And I was just kind of like, okay, let's see. So we pulled over, and we're already in a very twisty mountain road area, and so we swap spots, and he jumps in, and that old man starts driving, and mind you, the roads are wet. They're covered in like tree debris, you know, Washington tree debris, because they just had a huge windstorm, so all the pine needles and stuff are stuck to the road. And he's driving this thing, just driving the balls off of it, and he's scaring the crap out of me whipping around the corners. And I'm like, this thing's gonna spin out, but it was sticky. That car did not slip or anything, so I had to tell him to back off. I was like, all right, I get it. Maybe it's just me being in the passenger seat. It's always scarier, you know, in the passenger seat than when you're driving, but he was driving that thing hard, and I was just like, all right, I get it. I don't want to wreck this thing, you know. So the car gets down, I'll give you that. So what are our plans for this car? You know, obviously I want a sports car, so that's what we have. It needs, to me, I don't want to go crazy on it, but I want to refine what the car already is. You know, it's old and it's outdated now. You know, it's 2004, so that's, what, 18 years old now? Jeez. I used to work on these when they were brand new in the dealership, especially in 04. I would have worked on these this year model. So to me, they're still kind of a new car in my mind, but 18 years, geez. But they need to be updated. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna consider this stage one, is we're gonna do lots of minor modifications. We're gonna do exhaust, we're gonna do the intake, just cold air intake, not intake manifold. We need to update the shifter, because that's a weak point on these. Not really a weak point, just an area that can be refined. The stock shifters are kind of floppy and sloppy and don't have a whole lot of feel when you're shifting. So I'm gonna upgrade that. And then performance-wise, yeah, I'm not going crazy yet. Like I said, just intake and exhaust, kind of just getting more sound out of it, if anything. And then we're gonna lower it on stock bolts for now. So you can drop it, I don't know, depends on who you talk to, like 3/4 of an inch, just on the factory. There's basically adjustments in there that you can drop the car down a little bit on. So we'll do that, and we'll just do that for now. We're not gonna go anything crazy. We're not gonna go anything aftermarket. I kind of don't like them completely slammed. You see the wheel gaps on these, and they're really big. It just needs to come down just a little. So we'll do that. The stereo needs to be upgraded for sure. That old Bose system ain't cutting it. It was cool back in the day, but not anymore. I need to be able to connect Bluetooth and all that stuff. So we'll upgrade the stereo, the screen unit and all that stuff inside, and then we'll go through and we'll probably completely rip out the Bose speakers and the factory amps or whatever they got going on in there. We'll rip all that out, and I've already got a nice set of speakers that'll probably go in there. I just got to buy a nice amplifier to match them all up, and then we can throw a sub in the back and just different things like that, kind of make the whole driving experience, you know, really cool. The lighting, all the exterior lighting on the entire car needs to be updated. So like the headlights on these things really suck. To be stock headlights just suck on these things. They're just these huge things with, you know, giant headlights, and they stick up like big frog eyes, and to me they're horrendous when the lights are open. So we're gonna do an upgrade on the lighting, which I've already ordered. It's just gonna take like 2 months to get, because the guy makes them by order basically. They're all 3D printed and stuff like that. So it'll be kind of cool to get that updated. And then the rest of the lighting, like tail lights and side marker lights, all that stuff, I want to actually upgrade all to LEDs, you know, kind of get that sharp, you know, lighting look with nothing too crazy style-wise, but just make it look more modern and updated, you know. So other than that, that's kind of what I consider stage one on this car, you know, just kind of refining the factory-ness that it is. You know, it's kind of all original, so we'll just kind of slowly modify it. And then later on down the road, if we want to get really crazy, then, you know, I've already priced out all the calling up Texas speed and doing, you know, heads and cam and get it real nasty, you know, do aftermarket wheels, you know, do all that stuff, you know, maybe wide body, do some stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens down the road. Oh, let me just put this in here. Forgot to mention, these tires are going to be upgraded. I'm real close to ordering new ones right now, so they look good. They have a lot of tread on them. You know, they're probably have very few miles on these to begin with. Michelin, hold on, I'm working on a Pilot Sport, AS, blah, 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 blah. Problem is, they're extremely old, and they're run flats. So, first off, I want to get rid of the run flats, because that makes your car ride extremely harsh, very noisy. So we're going to get rid of those. We're just going to go to a standard tire. If I have a flat, I'll just deal with it. And the date code on these things is, I think, 2008. So these tires are extremely old. We got to get rid of those. So that's kind of one thing that I'm not driving the car for, because just the tires. I don't want to have a blowout. I don't want to deal with it. But you can see the fronts also have tons of tread wear on them. You know, it's kind of a shame that they just didn't get much use, really. The car probably hasn't had much miles put on it. Probably, what, 10, 20,000 miles maybe on the last 12 years of its life, probably. The other thing we got to do is the headlights. If you'll notice, the headlights are up. They shouldn't be. That headlight motor completely fried itself about a week before I was gonna drive the car up and store it. So I didn't have a chance to fix it. So we had this headlight up and pulled the fuse, so at least they look symmetrical. So I got both headlights up right now. That headlight motor, I'm still trying to locate one. We went to the local Napa Auto Parts today, and they didn't have one, and they can't even find one, and they don't have it in stock anywhere in the world. So I gotta look elsewhere. I think Summit Racing had them, so I'll have to jump online tonight and order that up. As far as fixes that need to get done right now, so headlights, tires, there's an electric module, LMC5 I think it's called, that I bought that needs to be put in, because these have like a service column lock issue. That's supposed to fix that. I'm trying to think what else I bought here while I got the camera on. Okay, the crankshaft. Okay. The crankshaft pulley harmonic balancer on these is known for going bad. I don't know why. Just a bad design. Probably can't see it from here. Way down at the bottom is the crankshaft pulley. So what happens is on the harmonic balancer portion of it, the rubber starts to separate, so the outer pulley kind of starts wobbling, and all of a sudden it'll fail and the pulley will come apart, which is really bad. It kind of tears a lot of things up in there. So Mine, I noticed it had a little bit of a wobble to it when I got it, so I've already ordered the new one. I got the Summit Racing brand one and a new bolt and all that stuff, so I'm gonna swap that out. God knows when, hopefully, I don't know, maybe next weekend or something, we can start working on that. And then when I first got the car, I don't know if I had a misfire. I think it was running a little rough when I got it, so I ended up replacing spark plugs and wires on the whole thing, and I found, I think it was the spark plug wire, I think over here was completely fried. It was completely smoked through. It was non-existent. So yeah, I definitely had bad plugs and wires, so we replaced all that. And I threw new belts and the belt tensioner, I replaced that, and I think I might have done the idler pulley also, which is a common issue on these. Sorry, I'm out of breath. And of course, I'd like to upgrade that battery. I got to get a non-liquidy battery in there, ones that don't leak, because all the computers and the wiring are underneath it have issues when batteries leak on them. So, yeah, for now, this is what we're working with, and I think it's a really nice car, and I think it's a good addition to the channel.